When I meet people for the first time, it seems as though so many people are so eager to find a connection. Oftentimes, they'll kind of think of something where they go, oh, do you know this person? My aunt's sister's friend worked there 5 years ago, and they live in this community, and they'll just keep trying to find something. And I think that's really nice. It's nice to feel like people want that connection.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the PVLIP podcast. I'm Braden Thiessen, and on today's episode, our special guest is Julie Toews. Julie is a lawyer at MMJS Law Firm, and she specializes in real estate around Manitoba. She just recently moved to the Pembina Valley. Welcome here, Julie. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having me, everyone. So my name is Julie Toews. I work at MMJS, which is a law firm that serves all of southern Manitoba. We have offices in Carman, Manitou, Winkler, Morden, Treeherne, and a whack load of other places. So we're always here to help.
What services do you offer at your firm?
We primarily offer real estate services. Okay. So if you're buying and selling a house, then we would love to help you. We also offer corporate and commercial law. So if you're starting a business, then we can also help you with that. And we do a lot of estate planning. So estate planning is when a lawyer will help you plan what happens in the worst case scenario if you were to pass. We try to help you plan so that if that happens, then everything that you've worked so hard for will get passed down to the people that you choose.
What areas do you think that newcomers would need a lawyer most?
So for newcomers especially, I think that newcomers would need a lawyer for real estate. So again, for buying and selling houses. For starting small businesses, it's always great to hire a lawyer to get some legal advice to set up a corporation. For estate planning, if you have any troubles with your employer, always good to call a lawyer to figure out what your rights are. If you ever get in trouble with the law, again, you'll need a lawyer. Or for family issues, if you're going through a separation or a divorce.
So the goal of PVLIP is to promote welcoming and inclusive communities within the Pembina Valley. What would you define as a welcoming and inclusive community?
Well, to me, a welcoming and inclusive community is one that strives to give everybody a real sense of belonging and acceptance, and a community that considers diversity and different cultural practices as an asset and really helps to celebrate differences in addition to our shared experiences. So just to give a bit of background, I'm Vietnamese. My parents are from Vietnam. They immigrated to Canada shortly before I was born. So when I was thinking of this question, I thought of how good it felt to me as a kid and how good it felt for my parents to really have that moment where they felt accepted. So in particular, I thought of how my mom used to make these spring rolls and bring them to different potlucks whenever I had a school function or something. And everybody would love them, and people would go up to her and gush about them and ask her for the recipe, and I just remember how good that made her feel. And it really made her feel as though she had something to offer to the community. So festivals like Winkler's Culture Fest or Morden's Multicultural Winter Fest, I think are such great things. My parents would have loved those.
Could you walk us through the process of purchasing a home here in Canada for newcomers?
So most of the time, the process of buying or selling a home starts with getting the help of a realtor. So a realtor will, if you're buying a home, help you find the right home for you and your family. And if you're selling a home, will help put your house on the market to help you sell it. Some people choose to buy and sell without a realtor, and I think that can be a shame because they're great assets. They know the market more than anyone. And if you're buying, you're probably also going to be speaking to your bank. So bank, realtor, and then us. Once you've found your home, or you found the right buyer for your home, your realtor will write up a contract called an offer to purchase. It's a legally binding contract that lists all the conditions of your sale or your purchase. And it's important to know that this is legally binding. There's a possession date on there, and that's the date where the home goes from one person to another. Either way, before that date, it's important to find a lawyer. And that lawyer is going to do a lot of things behind the scenes. So there's a ton of paperwork, so I'm not going to bore you with the details of that paperwork. So if you're selling, we make sure you get paid. If you're buying, then we make sure you get the house and it's free and clear. So we love working with newcomers. Most of the time we get our work through realtors. So they will establish a connection with their clients, and then if they think that we're a good fit for those people, then for anyone really, then they will refer to us. But of course, if someone wants to work with us directly, we're always happy to take phone calls. I'm fairly new to the area, so I don't know too many people yet, but what I'm really hoping is to kind of set roots in the community and make sure that everyone knows that I'm available.
Is there one particular experience with being a lawyer that has left an impact on you, whether it be working with newcomers or working with somebody that, has left a great positive impact?
One of my favorite memories of working as a lawyer, but I think maybe just in general in life, is getting to be there for that moment where a young couple or newcomers buy their first home. Home ownership is such a huge step for most people, and it's a big deal. It's a huge reason to be excited and to celebrate. So getting to be in the room where people get to sign their names on the transfer documents and sign on that dotted line and get to share in their excitement, that's such a good feeling. It makes me feel great to even get to be there and watch that. And I think I feel this way for all home buyers, but there is something about newcomers that maybe reminds me of my parents, where I think of when I was a kid, how excited we all were to go from our rented house to our first home.
You obviously said you're new around this area. Why do you think Manitoba is a great place to move for newcomers?
So I actually moved here from Alberta a few years ago.
Yeah.
So I think now that I've been here for a little bit and then moved to the Pembina Valley just in the last year, I can say fairly confidently that I really love this area and the small town feel and what that does for a community. I think there's something about it where it's extra welcoming. People are open to asking questions and getting to know you a little bit more. And what I think of is how surprised I was when I first moved to the Pembina Valley that people wave to you as they cross the street, if they're crossing you on the street. And sometimes even when you're just driving past them, they'll still wave and kind of mouth hello. And that's great. It doesn't really happen in bigger cities. And then the other thing I thought of was that when I meet people for the first time, it seems as though so many people are so eager to find a connection or a shared experience. So what I think of is when I tell people where I work, oftentimes they'll kind of think of something where they go, oh, do you know this person? My aunt's sister's friend worked there 5 years ago and they live in this community, and they'll just keep trying to find something. And I think that's really nice. It's nice to feel like people want that connection.
When people hear the word lawyer, the feeling is a little bit of uneasiness or nervousness. Would you like to respond to that?
I think it's important to say that I know that the law can be really complicated, and the law is also very different from country to country. So each country has their own way of dealing with all of the issues that we talked about, and none of it is right or wrong, it's just different. So I think that with how complicated things are, it's really easy for newcomers, but also just people in general, to get really overwhelmed and kind of scared of going to speak to a lawyer because they think that we're going to be like the people you see on TV and yell at everyone. But I can tell you that we're not. We're just people, we're your neighbors, we're your friends, and we're here to provide you with a service. So if you're in trouble in any way or you're not even sure that you need a lawyer, I always encourage people, pick up the phone, call us, and we'll see if we can help you in any way.
That's right. Lawyers are our friends, and they only try to make things fair for all parties. Thanks so much, Julie, for joining us today. And once again, thank you for joining us on this podcast. This concludes our first season of the PVLIP podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, and we hope that you have become a little more curious about our neighbors that we have here in the Pembina Valley. I hope you all have enjoyed the interviews just as we all have enjoyed preparing this for you. On behalf of Shepherd and OSED, my name is Braden Thiessen. Have a great rest of your day. Take care, everyone.